Hey guys, Josh here at Fortner's Frontier Leather. So I got a lot to do today, but I got to make two M&P Shield holsters, 3 or 4 log carriers, I think. I got a tree down on the chicken coop and the rabbit pen. I got to get down. I got to feed all the animals, do all that kind of stuff. And if I get done with all the leather work and all the chores I got to do, I want to get out and do some shooting today. I haven't shot as much as I want to, but I got to get these guns out. Did some zeroing last night. I want to get out and get some training in. So I wanted to take y'all along on the ride today of making one of these M&P Shield holsters. I'm not going to edit this video. I just want to take you through the unedited, unfiltered process of what I go through to complete an order from start to finish. So I'm not going to pause. I'm going to pick up this camera and move it with me, so this video will get kind of shaky at times. But I just want to take you through the entire process and let you come along with me unedited to show you behind the scenes exactly what I do. So I'm not going to zoom in on the computer because I don't want you seeing people's addresses and stuff. But first thing, I'll come over here, pull up Etsy or the website, depending on what I'm doing orders off of, and I'll see what I need to make. I'm going a little out of order right now because I got 2 of these. I'm going to do them both, and then I'll start on the log carriers because they take me a long time. So I'm going to knock these 2 orders out first. So first off, I have my pattern. I've got it out of the, I have a box over here. Let me see if I can turn it around for you. Let's see. I have a box here with all my patterns and stuff. Excuse my messy workshop. I've been so busy and haven't had time to clean it up. So get the pattern out. Clear the gun. Make sure everything's clear. You know that. If you don't know to make sure the gun's clear before you're making a holster, you probably shouldn't be making holsters. But this is the gun, M&P Shield. We're going to make this holster. We're going to make 2 of them, but I'm just going to take you along for the ride on one. Kind of show you the process of how I make these. Every holster is made just about the same. I don't do any molding and stuff unless somebody specifically requests it. So I got my Wickett and Craig traditional harness leather out here. It's what I make these out of. What I'll do usually is I'll lay my pattern out like I've showed you before, and then I will see, where's my knife. I will cut piece out so I have a little smaller piece, more manageable piece to work with. Now I'll put my leather back up on the shelf over here. So there we have a small piece cut out to work with. By the way, y'all like my Bravo Company shirt? Pretty sweet, I think. Got this from BCM. Pretty cool shirt. Got the rifleman, basically the job description. Locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver. You know, all that cool stuff. So, we'll lay this out here. Trace the pattern out onto the leather. This is a right-handed holster. Or they're both right-handed. I was going to take y'all on the ride for both of them, but I decided that would be way too long of a video and you wouldn't want to sit through the making of 2 of these. So I'll just take you with this one, then after this video I'll start back over with the other one. So I'll trace out both pieces, the main body of the holster and the belt loop onto this piece of leather. There we have that. And my chair keeps going down on me. Now we'll cut it out. I say I do everything, as y'all know, by hand with just hand tools. I could get a clicker press and dies made of all this stuff and everything, but that stuff's expensive and I don't really have the money for that. And I like increasing my skills, you know, doing it all by hand like this. Now, anybody can start a company, you know, manufacturing holsters like this with machines and stuff with relatively no skill. But it's not the same doing it all by hand. You have to put some time and effort into learning the process and building the necessary skills to do the work. So there's the main body cutout. As you can see, it's symmetrical. All I have to do, well, I'll show you this in a minute. So we got that. Get all these scraps out of the way. And the reason I don't do a lot of molded holsters is because, for one, mostly I'm making like old school, you know, single action revolver holsters, which don't get molded. And I just don't enjoy doing it. I don't enjoy molding holsters. And I don't mold them for myself either. I understand that it's helpful, you know, in weapons retention and stuff. But I prefer, if I want, you know, more retention, to just put a like a thumb brake or a some sort of retention strap on it. They say, some people say, well, that slows things down when you go to draw, but I guess it's whatever. So there's the belt loop cut out. Being that this holster is symmetrical, which was what I was about to tell y'all, is this same pattern can be used for left or right hand. Being that this is right hand, it's going to be like this, and I'll stitch the loop onto this side. If it were left hand, I would simply stitch the loop onto the opposite side. So, makes it a lot easier. I'm going to open up this window so we can get some more light in here. I don't know if that help any, but it helps me a little bit. I think my vision is getting a little worse as time goes on, as I get older. But I think that's normal. So now I'll take my wing dividers, etch a line around everything. Like I said in the last video, this will serve as my stitching line. And on the top and bottom here, it will just be a decorative thing on the holster. Just to kind of give it a little more character, get a kind of a lined border around it. I'm thinking about selling this pattern. It won't be very much, but I'm thinking about posting this pattern on the Etsy shop. If y'all would be interested in that, if y'all would be interested in me making patterns and selling these to you guys, let me know. They won't cost very much, but I'll have to charge something. Can't just be giving stuff away, you know, all willy-nilly. I got to make a profit too. This took, you know, my time to design this stuff, so time is our most valuable resource. And if you want to start a business, you know, making handcrafted items, keep that in mind. You have to charge for your time. So what I've done here is I've made another line. I just basically put my wing divider on that top portion and then made another line with the other point. and because this will serve as 2 lines of stitching on each one. So I have basically a box stitched around each end. So now what I will do, something y'all have seen before, and my camera will turn around here. There we go. Well, stick the logo on. I put it on the belt strap, or the belt loop, whatever you want to call it. And I'll kind of press down on that press, and I'll hammer it a couple times to make sure it's set nice in there. Bam. All right. So there's that. So now we will bevel all the edges. Let me turn that down some. Bevel all the edges. Well, all the edges that need to be beveled. Down each side here. Beveling the edges on this just makes it a little smoother for when you slide your belt through. Gives it a more finished look. Oh, I got some little fuzzies hanging off there. Let's get rid of that. Bevel the bottom. Bevel the top. As you can see, this is basically the same process as making the 1851 holster that I showed y'all last time. But this time, I just wanted you, like I said, I just wanted to bring you along for the whole trip. Not cut anything out. If something messes up, you're going to see it. Because that's just reality. Things go wrong. There we go. Edges are beveled. Now, normally what I would do is go ahead and coat slick the edges. Problem is, after I slick these edges, there will be edge coat put on. Problem is, I'm out of brown edge coat. So what I'm going to do instead is take some dark brown dye, and this is what I'm doing until edge coat comes in, which is no big deal because like I said in the last video, people do things different. People do things this way. Some people don't use edge coat. They do it like this. They'll dye the edges first, and then use the gum tragacanth and slick them. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to dye the edges instead of slicking them, or instead of burnishing them and then coating them. I'm going to dye them first and then burnish them. So this is just regular leather dye, Fiebing's Pro dye, dark brown. So there, I've got the edges dyed. Let's see. I'm going to hang on to this dauber here because when we go back, we might have to straighten the edges up and dye them again. So then, I'm going to take a little bit of gum trag and go over top of that dye. And from what I found, it seems to kind of burnish that dye onto those edges. And it looks pretty good. I kind of like the way it looks doing this better than using edge coat. I'm thinking I might just start doing it this way from now on. because edge coat does wear off over time. It will eventually kind of peel off. And this dye is obviously not going to peel off. It's soaked into the leather. Dye or slick these edges all the way around. Now on these, this belt loop is pretty tight when you first put it on your belt, but it'll loosen up over time. Oh, see, my wife just messaged me to see what she's saying. Wanting to buy the kids a new pair of shoes. There, the edges are slicked on the belt loop. Now let's go on to the holster body. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to have to come right back. I got to do something for my wife real quick. All right, we're back. All right, so we'll continue on with this holster. Slick up these edges. Yeah, that squeak. That's what you want to hear when you're beveling or when you're slicking edges. You know it's done when it starts squeaking. All right, so all the edges are beveled and burnished. Now we're going to take it outside and punch holes. We take it outside because I don't have the log in here that I punch holes on. I do that outside to not be so loud in here. So we'll take hole punch, hammer, and a awl. Let's go. Let's get out of here. All right, out the door. All right. Okay, lay it down here. So first, what I'll do is punch holes for the belt loop. Like I've said before, sometimes I use the awl, sometimes I use this hole punch. It depends on what I'm making. For these holsters and some of the other holsters, I just use this hole punch. If it's a smaller, you know, more fine item, I'll use the awl. So there I have the holes in the belt loop. And what I'll do now is what I do, not what you have to do, but what I do is then I'll take the belt loop, put it on the back of the holster where it needs to be. I kind of line it up right with the top of the holster there, on that top line that I etched, right in that corner. And then I'll mark each one of those holes onto the main holster body. And then punch those holes. And there's the holes for the belt loop to be stitched on. Now we'll punch the holes along the sides to stitch the holster up. And I just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 times, or four full lengths of the punch down the end. So I'll make sure I get the same amount on the other side. A lot of people overthink this stuff. It's not complicated. Just do what works. 1. What works for you? 1. 2. 3. 4. There we have it. All the holes are punched. Let's go in and stitch it up. Back in the house. Back in the house. Got the fire burning down there in the old heater. Nice and toasty in here. All right. Now, let's clean all of our junk up. Let's see. Get this stuff out of the way. All right. Put the punches up. You got the little block over there holding all the tools. So hopefully today I'm going to get all this mess cleaned up in here. Next step of the process before you get your thread out is you take a sip of Mountain Dew. Critical part of the process. So now we got our thread. We're going to stitch on the belt loop first. You must stitch on the belt loop first, or you won't be able to get to it later on. So I go about 2.5 times the length of stitching for the amount of thread. So I go 1, 2, and a little bit more. Don't have to be super precise. And it's better to have too much thread than not enough. Thread's fairly cheap. Don't worry about wasting a little bit of thread, because it really sucks when you get halfway done or almost done with the holster and then come to find out you don't have enough thread to make it through, and you're trying to splice a piece into another piece, or crazy stuff like that. It just makes a not so great of a product, and it's just no fun. So when I'm stitching, let's see if I can get a better view here. I don't know. I'll start out going through one piece and leave a little tail hanging out, and then put this over top, because we're going to tie it off through the side there so that the knot is not seen. So I'll go back through that first hole, and then start stitching down the line. If there's anything specific that y'all would like to learn how to make, or learn how I make a certain item, let me know, because I'll be happy to do a video on it. I don't know what y'all want to see if you don't talk to me in the comments. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you want. Anything on this leather work and self-reliance and things of that nature, preparedness. Please let me know, because like I say, I can't read minds. I don't know what y'all want to know, what you do know, and what you don't know. So just tell me. Make things better for both of us, for all of us. You want to see trapping and skinning, tanning hides, more leatherwork content, tactical stuff. What do you want to see next? I mean, eventually I'm going to cover everything, but I just want to know what you want to see after this video, the very next video I record. Now I do all kind of stuff over at Patreon, and still a lot of stuff planned for Patreon. I got some special things planned for Patreon, and only till recently have I had time to do it. All right, so we tied that off through the side there. Take my scissors here, my skizzers, cut it off. One side, and we'll move on to the next side. Stitching is the longest part of making anything. Hand stitching just takes some time. It won't hurt my feelings if you fast forward through it. I understand. Well, I guess we don't fast forward anymore. We just skip. I guess. Skip on. But like I said, I'm not going to edit this, so I want you to see the amount that goes into it, the amount of time, the amount of work, all of it, unfiltered. Yes, your hands do kind of start hurting after stitching a lot by hand. Here we are, back at the end. So I got kind of short of a piece there. I use the pliers to pull it tight. Cut that off. Now what we'll do, we got the loop stitched on. We'll take another sip of Mountain Dew, and then we'll go over here. Quartz slab here. Have a hammer. Kind of smush that stitching down some. Kind of flatten it out and fill up the gaps, or fill those holes a little better. There's that. Now Ladies and gentlemen, we'll stitch up the main body and give the holster its shape. And then we'll give it a good fit test and see how we did. So I start at the bottom because I want the knot not to be at the bottom, because all the pressure is coming up here into that stitching, and I don't want it to pop loose, so I'll tie the knot down at the bottom. Just a precaution. So leave the little tail hanging out where we'll tie it off in between the layers of leather. Now I basically double stitch it on the end because this pops out as I'm stitching. So I'll put 2 loops through the end, hold it nice and tight in place. Make sure these edges are as close to flush as I can get before we're done with that, or done with the stitching. Or I should say while we're stitching, I make sure the edges are fairly flush. Now at the end here, at the top of the holster, I'll make another, I'll double stitch it again to make sure it's nice and tight there. So we'll go through that one, that top hole twice. Make sure that that stitching doesn't come loose. These holsters are a little tight. I wanted them to be because I don't put straps on these holsters. I don't put retention straps on them. All right. Now we're at the end. We'll tie that off. Look, I'm going to try to show you this. See, it's coming up through the layers in between there. Tie it off down in between there, so you don't even see the knot or the end of the stitch. So cut that off. Put the needle up. All right, we'll back over here. Hammer that stitching down. And there we have the shape of our holster. So now what I'm going to do is slick up these final edges here. Can y'all see okay? And there we have some slicked edges. Now, test fit. As always, we'll test fit. It'll be tied at first. Just kind of shove it down in there. And there we have it. Our Smith & Wesson M&P Shield holster. I really like this holster. I've been using it for myself. Most of the holsters I've been making, well, every holster I've made, I've usually it's been a gun that I bought for myself, or a holster I've made for a gun that I carry, and that's how I ended up making holsters for them. As you can see on this holster, I cut it down low like this so as to not interfere with the magazine release, and so you can get your fingers under there to get a positive hold on that thing when you go to pull it out, so you're not dropping your mag accidentally, and you can get a grip on it. That's why it's shaped the way it is and cut the way it is. I like to make holsters just the most basic and straightforward and simple way as possible. I prefer function over everything else. It just simply works. That's all. That's all I want to do, is make things that look nice and just simply work. Nothing fancy about it. Just I like that plain kind of classy look. At least that's how it looks to me. So now I'm gonna get the we're gonna have to print the label, and I'm gonna get the package, and I put a customer letter in every package, which I have signed. So here we have the letter that goes in every package with the logo and my signature. Yes, I do hand sign every one of those. And let's see, we need a bag to put it in. Here we are. We have the packaging material and the customer letter. I'll fold that up. Put that in the shipping bag. Oh, and I like to wrap every item up nicely in one of these, in some of this brown tissue paper. Kind of protected and something kind of nice to open up. All right, we'll put that there. Now we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna print the shipping label. I don't think you can see the address and stuff. So we're going to, normally I have this scale over here, and I would have to weigh things, but these, I have them a preset weight in here for these holsters because I make them a lot. So, review purchase, and we print the shipping label, which comes out right up here. All right, now we have it. I'm gonna stick it on here. I'm gonna stand in front of the camera because, like I say, you don't need to see the address. I'm gonna put this in here and seal it up, and then I will schedule a pickup on the post office website. So now I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna take a break, smoke a cigarette, get this video uploading while I work on the next holster. So thanks for joining me. I hope that that maybe helped you a little bit if you needed some help or wanted to see when it was made. If not, I hope it was just interesting for you to see how I make them. If you'd like to join our Patreon page, I'm trying to post as much content over there as possible. I'm trying to post pretty regularly, unlike here on YouTube. I try to post over there on a regular basis. And there is exclusive content over there. And like I said, I got a lot of stuff planned for Patreon. If y'all want to get in on that, it's patreon.com/Fortner's Frontier Leather. You can join for as little as $1 a month. Get more in-depth stuff on leatherwork, self-reliance, tactics, and things like that. I'm actually working on a basic rifleman course. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly. It will be released to Patreon first. And then after that, it's going to be a paid course. This is going to be a basic SHTF rifleman course to try to give everybody the knowledge and skills that they need to defend their homes, their property in a SHTF situation. So if you'd like, head over there and join. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for joining, and stay self-reliant.